something wrong with sounds today. They never really captured how I feel.
The range of pellet stoves includes two models with different power outputs. Stove 8.5 is designed to heat up a surface of up to 70 square meters. Stove 12.5 is designed to heat up a surface of over 100 square meters. They are also available in different colors: the sand-colored S model and the burgundy-colored B model. Each detail has been designed to make the daily cleaning of the stove easy to the point of being enjoyable. The extraction of the pellet collection rack, the cleaning of the ash straw, the internal cleaning to remove soot traces, the glass clean. These special operations allow any customer to maintain the excellent efficiency of their stove. But what makes the stove truly special and safe? The steel hearth has walls which act as a thermal flywheel, ensuring maximum heating power. A probe is positioned on the pellet tank wall to continuously check the temperature and protect against auto-combustion. The fan, which pushes the heated air out of the stove, is Class H insulated to operate perfectly in high temperatures. A mechanical manostat intervenes to shut down the stove whenever it registers an unjustified pressure change. A probe records the exhaust temperature in order to keep as much heat as possible from escaping, such that the flue gas is almost cold upon dispersal. The electronic circuit, which regulates the heat output and operation program, is positioned on a handy stowaway panel to make maintenance operations easier. Besides its undeniable functional and aesthetic advantages, the stove offers some noteworthy tricks which set it apart. Automatic, safe, fully programmable. A display is clearly visible on the upper part of the unit and enables the user to communicate easily with the stove. The key with this symbol is used to turn the stove on and off manually. These two triangles on the left indicate the buttons to increase and decrease the temperature. These two triangles on the right indicate the buttons to increase and decrease the power of the stove. The regulation of temperature and power can also be carried out using the handy remote control. The button labeled Set allows the user or technician to access the stove programming menu. The central digital display communicates with the user throughout the stove operation, from startup to shutdown. Let's take a look at the simple language used. After turning on the stove, the word off appears together with the current time. After a short moment, the message fan ACC appears, indicating that the stove has initiated pre-ventilation and flue gas discharge. After 1 minute, the message load wood appears, indicating the heating and pellet loading phase. An LED light is lit each time pellets are fed to the hearth. Once a sufficient temperature is reached, the message fire will indicate the last phase of ignition. The message on follows the conclusion of the ignition process. After a few minutes ventilation, the message on will appear on the upper part of the display, followed by the power setting. The lower display will show the ambient temperature. An LED light will light up on the left of the display when the flue gas exhaust is active. When the set temperature is reached, the upper display will show the message Eco, indicating operation in economical mode. The stove can continue to communicate with the user as it turns on and off throughout the week, according to the program set. Programming the stove is easily done by following this simple procedure. Press the Set button twice. The following text will appear for the following options. The temperature increase-decrease buttons enable the user to scan through the different options. The setup doesn't have to be the same for each day of the week. The stove can be made to operate at different times on different days, according to the user's needs. UT01, to set the current day of the week. Day 1 stands for Monday. Day 2 stands for Tuesday. Day 3 stands for Wednesday. Day 4 stands for Thursday. Day 5 stands for Friday. Day 6 stands for Saturday. And Day 7 stands for Sunday. UT02, to set the current hour. UT03, to set the current minutes. UT04, to be used exclusively by an authorized technician. Two setup options are available with different operation time bands. For example, it's possible to set the first time band from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the second one from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. The user can then apply different time bands to different days as desired. UT05, to set the ignition of the stove in the first time band. UT06, to set the shutdown of the stove in the first time band. UT07 indicates the days to which the first time band is applied. UT08, to set the ignition of the stove in the second time band. UT09, to set the shutdown of the stove in the second time band. UT10 indicates the days to which the second time band is applied. The programming is confirmed by pressing the stove ignition button. The authorized body IMQ has certified that the pellet stoves perfectly meet the criteria specified by the European standard PREN 14785. So far, we have looked at the outside of the pellet stove. We have seen various parts and components. But how does a pellet stove work? And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. Let's go inside and imagine following a pellet slug on its journey through the stove. I just knew too much. Our pellet is added to those already in the tank. The Model 8.5 tank can hold up to 15 kilograms of pellet, while the Model 12.5 tank can hold up to 25 kilograms. The pellet is collected by the worm screw and falls into the combustion chamber. When operating, the stove continuously communicates with the user, describing its every move. In the pellet loading phase, an LED lights up each time pellets are dropped into the combustion chamber. Ignition is carried out with an electronic trigger, eliminating the need for matches or firelighters. The ignition occurs with the help of an electronic resistance, which is positioned behind the brazier and which is ventilated by room temperature air drawn through the air inlet on the back of the stove. The air heats up quickly upon contact with the resistance and then transmits the heat energy to the pellets in the brazier, causing them to ignite. Once combustion has started in the combustion chamber, the air heats up. A fan then pushes the air towards the stainless steel tubing of the heat exchanger, which absorbs as much heat energy as possible. The stove then expels the flue gas through a dedicated exhaust system. The flue gas is directed towards a flue and is dispersed outside the building. The stove constantly checks the exhaust temperature. The lower the exhaust temperature, the better the stove, since it is able to hold the hot flue gas inside for as long as possible, discharging it when it is cold and thus fully exploiting the combustion heat. Again, the stove advises the user of his activities. An LED lights up when the flue gas is expelled. In this phase, the air heats up through thermal exchange and is pushed up through the fins towards the room. Horizontal tubes increase the performance by keeping the heat inside as the air is directed towards the domestic environment. Also here, the stove advises the user of its activities. The display continuously indicates the stove temperature. The stove operation is regulated by an electronic circuit which controls the desired temperature, the air inlet velocity and therefore the flame intensity, the pellet loading frequency, and the exhaust fan velocity, improving the stove efficiency to up to 80%. From this moment onwards, until the eventual shutdown for lack of pellets, the stove continues operating with complete autonomy, managing all the combustion parameters. The stove has reached a steady state. During operation, a flow of air is projected over the ceramic glass of the combustion chamber. This air keeps the glass clean during the stove operation, as the ceramic glass, resistant to up to 750 degrees centigrade, is protected from the lick of the flame and resulting soot deposits. As the glass remains perfectly clean, the user can enjoy the unhindered view of the flames as well as the warmth that the stove offers. During the operation of the stove, the ash is deposited in the ash straw. The volume of ash produced by the combustion is only about 1% of the pellets burned, assuming that the pellets in question are of high quality. For this reason, as well as for performance motives, the exclusive use of high quality pellets is advisable. The heat produced by the stove is dry and pleasant. Because it is dry, it is advisable to use the special water basin in order to maintain optimum humidity. As the stove heats up, the water evaporates and water vapor diffuses throughout the room.